Hello, ladies and gentlemen of District 31. My name is Daniel DiNardo. I'm standing for election to House District 31 seat in the legislature in the House of Representatives. This is another continuing YouTube presentation where I take up different issues of discussion to inform you of what I believe, what I know, and the amount of work I put into learning what I know. I don't believe that my opposition has ever spent any time other than talking to their political fellow party members. I don't believe that they've ever done any study on the historical context. I don't believe they've ever taken the effort to avail themselves of the state court system to file their own lawsuits or to investigate on a first-hand personal basis the petroleum picture from an accounting, historical, and an operational point of view in the state of Alaska. I have done those things. In fact, at one time, I was the major state petroleum auditor. I audited the oil companies, took care of all the royalty and the severance tax payments. And I will honestly tell you at this point in time that this so-called gas line project that was passed with Mr. Bob Lynn's acquiescence in the name of the interest of the Communist Party called the Republican Party, it's an absolute fraud. We have a governor now who's basking in the limelight of a cult of personality who basically everybody's afraid of. They're afraid to speak the truth. They're afraid to vote the truth. So they just succumb. Now, there's nothing wrong with her being governor, but I don't believe that when you are elected by a district of Alaskans that you're supposed to surrender your individual integrity and your individual judgment on very important issues, and this is exactly what's happened. It's Communist Party politics at its worst. What I'm going to do now is continue with the discussion I had regarding attorneys and why I'm going to introduce legislation to disband attorneys, to revoke their corporate status, and to basically abolish the idea of an attorney having exclusive control over our system of justice. I spent 26 years in this system right here in Anchorage, both litigating in the federal and in the state system, and I call it being in the belly of the beast. The state system is nothing but a corrupt criminal enterprise, just like its federal counterpart down the street on 7th Avenue. Some years ago in the 80s, the Alaska Supreme Court, and I normally call it the Alaska Supreme Soviet, they used to go to Girdwood to conduct their weekly business meeting. Well, that was going on fine and dandy until one day one of them raped a courthouse employee who was brought along to perform certain administrative functions. After that, that all stopped. And I will tell you also that the largest and the most active cocaine dealing operation in state history was taking place through the state law library. Those personnel are appointed by the Alaska Supreme Court, and they superintend everything that happens there. In fact, what you'll find out is so many of the people that are appointed to the bench, it's all manipulated. These people are hand-chosen. There really isn't a selection process. They go through what is called the Judicial Council, which is totally controlled because the so-called Chief Justice of the Alaska Supreme Court, the Alaska Supreme Soviet as I refer to it, she sits as the chairman of it and has basically the deciding vote on the matter. There's 7 members, and her vote is deciding. And they also run the Judicial Conduct Commission. There's an attorney, Marla Greenstein, that's in charge of that. And they make sure that when you file a complaint against a so-called judge, and they're not judges, they're mere chancellors in equity. There's not a judge in the United States anywhere today, but particularly in the state of Alaska, they're all chancellors. They practice foreign law. It is their word that is the law. They do not have to follow so-called precedents because they're the ones that make them up anyway, and they overthrow them at will, helter-skelter, and that's how they conduct business. Everything is geared towards what I refer to is their diabolical sense of irrational philosophy. They're compulsive, pathological liars. I have, in 26 years, I have never met an attorney of any religious or theosophical persuasion that's been anything but a pathological, compulsive liar. I have filed over 125 lawsuits, and every one of them has total, irrefutable, documented evidence and affidavits, and they have never been refuted. And you can compare that to all the lies and the subterfuge and deceit that attorneys practice on a continual basis, including the state attorneys and the so-called attorneys that represent the municipality. So that's why I believe the interest of justice, freedom, and liberty, this diabolical group, and by the way, The God-man himself, Jesus Christ, during his life, condemned them to everlasting damnation repeatedly. You can look at John and Matthew for yourself. He told them, "Woe to you attorneys, you Sadducees, Pharisees, scribes, and hypocrites, because they are." And what else did he say when with them? That their father is Lucifer, because Lucifer is the father of all lies, and they do the work of their father. He also repeatedly told us that the love of money is the root of all evil. Attorneys are interested in one thing, the Communist International and its spread of corporationism and billable hours. They are absolutely diabolical. They lie, cheat, and steal on a continual basis, and that's why you have all your crime. That's why you have all of these economic crises, such as the subprime mortgage crises. You have prisons that are overfilled. You have all sorts of administrative and legal complications that are introduced into society, all in the interest of entrapping the unwary and entrapping the innocent, and forcing them to expend their property, to lose their property, and to subserve the Bar Association, which is nothing but, it was originated and it is maintained by the Communist International today, and they are universal, they're in every country, and they're international in scope under the international law merchant. Now I'm going to bring this discussion to a close, and I would invite you to continue to check out YouTube. I'm going to be having numerous discussions on many issues that need to be addressed, and my next address will be coming up shortly, and again I'm going to take up the money issue to show you how attorneys have destroyed all rights and property. Thank you very much.